Okay, let's set the scene. Imagine you're running a busy supermarket. You've got produce going off too quickly, maybe, and that crucial morning milk delivery. It's often late.
Right. Arriving after the early rush, leaving shelves empty.
Exactly. Annoying for customers, bad for business.
Yeah.
It sounds specific, but I bet listeners recognize that kind of headache, from shopping or just hearing about supply chain issues.
Oh, absolutely. These aren't uncommon problems.
Now, people probably heard of things like lean, that's about cutting waste, right?
Reducing waste, maximizing value.
And Six Sigma, that's more about process perfection, getting rid of errors.
Precisely. It's very data-driven, focused on improving processes and eliminating defects.
So what happens when you put them together? Because that's what we're talking about today, isn't it? Lean Six Sigma?
Exactly. That combination, that synergy is Lean Six Sigma. It takes Lean's focus on, identifying and getting rid of anything that doesn't add value.
The waste.
The waste, yes. And it combines it with Six Sigma's really structured approach, tools, and techniques for improving processes and cutting out mistakes. For tricky problems like that supermarket scenario, it's a really powerful mix.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. So that's our mission for this deep dive then, to really understand Lean Six Sigma by looking at, its parents, Lean and Six Sigma, and how they work together.
That's the plan. We'll see how each contributes and how they combine, using that supermarket example to make it, really concrete.
Great. So let's start with Lean. That's kind of the foundation for the waste reduction part, right?
It is. At its core, Lean is all about creating more value for the customer with fewer resources. It means really understanding what the customer wants.
What they'll actually pay for.
What they'll pay for, yes. And then stripping out everything else, any step, any action in the process that doesn't add that specific value. And it's also about continuous improvement and shortening the time it takes to deliver.
Okay, this idea of waste in Lean, it's not just like throwing away spoiled milk, is it?
No, much broader. It's any activity that consumes resources but creates no value from the customer's perspective.
Like our milk truck example, if it takes a crazy long route because of bad planning.
Exactly. That extra time, the extra fuel, the customer gets no benefit from that. That's waste.
Got it. And Lean actually categorizes this waste.
It does, very meticulously.
Yeah.
There are 8 common types they focus on. Knowing these helps you spot where the problems are. First is transportation, moving things, people, inventory, whatever, more than necessary.
Okay, unnecessary movement of stuff. Makes sense.
Then there's inventory, having more materials or product on hand than you actually need right now. This ties up money, increases risk of damage, or things becoming obsolete.
Yeah, like too much milk sitting in the back, potentially going bad.
Precisely. Third is motion. This is about wasted effort from people moving unnecessarily. Think about a worker constantly walking back and forth across a warehouse because things aren't stored logically, or double entering data.
So inefficient movement of people or effort.
Right. Then waiting. This is a big one. Any time spent waiting for the next step, waiting for information, materials, equipment, it's all waste.
Like staff waiting for that late milk truck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Number 5 is overproduction, making more of something sooner or faster than it's needed by the next process or the customer.
Which leads back to inventory waste, I guess.
It often does. Then overprocessing.
Yeah.
Putting more work, more features, more steps into something than the customer actually values or requires. Gold plating, essentially.
Okay, doing too much.
7th is defects. Pretty straightforward errors, mistakes, products, or services that don't meet the standard, requiring rework or scrapping.
Right, like a leaky milk carton.
And the final one, number 8, is skills, or rather the underutilization of skills. Not using people's talents effectively or having people do jobs they aren't properly trained for.
That's interesting. So wasting human potential is also waste.
Absolutely. It's a critical one. So Those are the 8 wastes Lean targets.
And there are specific Lean methods or tools to tackle these.
Yes, quite a few. The source mentions some popular ones. You've probably heard of just-in-time, or JIT.
Yeah, getting materials to arrive exactly when you need them, not before, to keep inventory super low.
Exactly. It aims to reduce time within the production system and also supplier and customer response times. Really tight synchronization.
Okay, what else?
There's 5S. It's a system for organizing a workspace sort, set in order, shine, standardize, sustain. Basically, creating a clean, tidy, efficient environment where tools and materials are easy to find and use. It boosts efficiency, safety, even morale.
A place for everything and everything in its place.
Yeah.
Like that. Sounds practical.
Very practical. And then there's Kanban. It's a visual system, often using cards or boards to manage workflow. It helps you see where work is piling up, where bottlenecks are, so you can address them quickly.
Like a visual signal saying, hey, I'm ready for more work, or help, I'm overloaded.
Pretty much, yeah. And the key thing is, these methods often work best together. You might use JIT for parts delivery, 5S to organize the assembly area, and Kanban to manage the flow between stations.
Okay, so Lean gives the supermarket manager tools to attack waste across the board, storage, stocking, maybe even checkout processes.
Exactly. It provides that framework for identifying and eliminating those non-value-adding activities.
But what about that really specific nagging problem? The milk always arriving late. It feels like we need a different kind of tool for that, more focused on fixing a broken process.
And that's perfectly set up for Six Sigma. When you have a persistent problem, a process that isn't performing reliably, Six Sigma provides the methodology and the tools to drill down and fix it.
So Six Sigma is the process improvement specialist here.
You could say that. It's very rigorous, very data-focused. It's about reducing variation and defects in processes. Now, Six Sigma has a couple of main methodologies, but the one that's really central to Lean Six Sigma, according to our source, is DMAIC.
DMAIC. Okay. What does that stand for?
It stands for Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control. It's a structured 5-step approach to problem solving.
All right, let's walk our supermarket manager through DMAIC for this milk delivery issue. First step, define.
Okay, define. Here, you clearly define the problem, the goals, and what the customer needs. So, the problem is late milk deliveries. The goal is, let's say, to have milk consistently stocked on shelves by 8:30 a.m. every day. The customer need is fresh milk available early.
Clear goal. Makes sense. Next is measure.
Measure. This is where you collect data on the current process, establish a baseline. So they measure current delivery times. They find the truck leaves at 7:30 a.m. The usual route A, takes about 60 minutes, hitting that 8:30 a.m. target, but just barely, sometimes missing it.
Okay. And those other routes?
Right, they measure those too. Route B takes 70 minutes on average, Route C takes 80, so those definitely don't work with the 7:30 a.m. start.
Got it. So we have the definition, we have the measurements. Now analyze. This is the detective work part.
Exactly. Analyze is where you dig into the data you collected to find the root cause of the problem, the reason for the delays or defects. Why are routes B and C so much slower?
And what did they find?
Well, analyzing the timing and maybe, driver logs or traffic data, they discover that routes B and C are heavily used by school buses during that specific morning window. The school traffic is the culprit causing those longer times.
The school buses. Okay, that's a specific root cause. So now they know why it's happening. That leads to improve.
Improve phase. Now that you know the root cause, you develop, test, and implement solutions to fix it. So knowing the issue is morning traffic, particularly school buses.
They could try leaving earlier.
That's what they did. They tested moving the pickup time significantly earlier to 6:30 a.m. And interestingly, they found Route A still took about an hour, even without the peak traffic. Maybe it's just a longer route physically.
Okay.
But starting at 6:30 a.m., routes B and C, which previously took 70 and 80 minutes, now only take about 40-25 minutes because they completely avoid that school bus congestion.
Wow, big difference. So they switched routes.
Yes, they implemented the change.
Yeah.
Leave at 6:30 a.m. and consistently use Route B. Now the milk arrives well before 8:30 a.m., maybe closer to 7:15 a.m. Problem solved, process improved.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But it doesn't end there, right? There's one more letter. C, control.
Right. Control is crucial. This phase is about sustaining the gains. You put measures in place to monitor the new process, make sure it keeps performing well, and you standardize it.
So keep tracking those delivery times. Make sure Route B stays fast.
Exactly. Maybe set up alerts if a delivery is late. Document the new standard procedure, leave at 6:30, use Route B. You might even continue to look for further improvements. Maybe Route D is even better. It's about locking in the gains and continuing to monitor.
And the results for the supermarket were pretty good, based on the source.
Oh, yeah. Reduced costs, maybe less staff overtime waiting for deliveries, fewer lost sales because the milk is actually there, and, importantly, happier customers who can rely on finding milk in the morning. Better retention.
That really shows how that structured DMAIC approach can tackle a specific persistent issue.
Okay, so we've seen Lean attacking waste broadly, and Six Sigma, specifically DMAIC, fixing a specific faulty process. How does Lean Six Sigma bring it all together? Well, it's essentially that combination. Lean Six Sigma uses lean principles to reduce waste and improve flow across the board, making processes more efficient overall.
Streamlining things generally.
Right. And then it uses the Six Sigma DMAIC toolkit to tackle the more complex problems, the variations, the defects within those processes that need that rigorous data-driven approach. So you get the benefit of both. Less waste and better quality, more reliable processes.
So it's like you're cleaning up the whole system with lean and then using Six Sigma for the really deep cleaning or repairs where needed.
That's a decent analogy, yeah. Lean clears the clutter, Six Sigma fixes the underlying faults. And together, the overall impact is usually greater than using either one alone.
And the source mentioned some overall benefits for businesses that adopt Lean Six Sigma.
It did, pretty compelling ones. An obvious one is an increase in profits, driven by lower costs and potentially higher sales.
Makes sense. Less waste, fewer errors, better customer satisfaction.
Exactly. It also leads to standardized and simplified processes. This makes training easier, makes execution more consistent, reduces confusion.
Easier to manage, less variability.
Right. A significant reduction in errors and defects, naturally, which boosts quality and reduces rework costs.
Quality goes up, costs go down.
Another key benefit highlighted is employee development. Because Lean Six Sigma often involves getting frontline employees involved in identifying problems and finding solutions.
They become part of the improvement process.
Exactly. It builds skills, boosts engagement, creates a culture of continuous improvement. People feel more ownership.
That's a really important one. And the last one.
Ultimately, it all funnels down to delivering more value to customers. Better products, faster service, more reliability, maybe even lower prices eventually. It enhances the whole customer experience.
So wrapping it up, Lean Six Sigma isn't just, a buzzword. It's this practical combination. Lean's relentless focus on waste elimination,
Getting rid of anything the customer wouldn't pay for.
paired with Six Sigma's structured, data-heavy DMAIC method for fixing processes and crushing defects.
Right. It aims for efficiency and effectiveness, working smarter, reducing frustration, making things flow better.
And going back to our supermarket one last time, Lean could tidy up the back room, maybe speed up shelf stocking.
Using 5S or looking at motion waste.
While DMAIC specifically fixed that chronic late milk delivery by analyzing the routes and changing the schedule, Lean Six Sigma gives you the tools for both the broad sweep and the deep dive.
Precisely. It offers that comprehensive approach.
This has been really illuminating. It makes you think, doesn't it? Considering those 8 wastes from lean transportation, inventory, motion, waiting, overproduction, overprocessing, defects, skills, where do those pop up in our own lives? Maybe in our work routines or even just how we, manage things at home.
It's everywhere once you start looking for it, isn't it? Wasted steps, waiting around, things not being where they should be.
Yeah. And then thinking about DMAIC, define, measure, analyze, improve, control. How could that kind of structured thinking help with a nagging problem we face? Maybe not a milk delivery, but, constantly running late for something, or a project that always seems to hit the same snag.
It's a powerful framework for tackling almost any recurring issue, really. Defining it clearly, measuring it, finding the real cause. It often leads to solutions you hadn't considered.
Definitely food for thought.
Yeah.
Hopefully this deep dive has given everyone some new lenses for looking at efficiency and improvement, maybe sparking some ideas.